Hello and welcome to another episode of Comic Breakers. I am your first host, Nolan Vanoy. With me as always is Red Wing expert
Brian Stork.
Brian
Thank
Stork.
you. I am TV's Red Wing.
TV's Red Wing,
That's
Brian
right.
Stork.
Yeah. Red Wing the Fourth, they call him, because Red Wings 1 through 3 died tragically and violently.
That is true. Red Wing Senior, Red Wing Junior, and Red Wing the Third did die in Infinity War in very quick succession.
By Falcon's own hand.
He sacrificed those lives on his own.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're going to be talking about some comic book movie news. Let's start off with some news.
Hell yeah.
First piece of news.
I'm gonna rate every piece of news.
Yeah, give me
give
me it out of 10.
I'm gonna give a visual thumbs up.
Okay.
And on the audio, I'll say the opposite.
Can you do like the Commodus thing where you start with your thumb sideways and then you go up or down?
Yeah. So everyone at home will just have to remember to flip whatever I say. And so if I say thumbs up, I'm giving a thumbs down.
Right. Yeah, this is really good. This is really smart. It's good to keep our audience on their toes.
It's a fun little play along at home kind of game.
First piece of news, The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson,
Right, correct.
has wrapped filming.
Really?
As of this past week, they have finished filming.
Thumbs way down. I had to do the math in my head.
Way down. And by way down, he means way up.
I'm loving it.
What's crazy about it is they actually wrapped, I think to the day, a year after they had to shut down the first time.
Really?
Back last March.
Okay,
yeah.
It actually just wrecked me that it's a year to the day since they had to, because I remember.
when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm
okay.
excited. I'm genuinely very excited.
I think it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be really great. I think it's got like it's got a different visual identity going on with, they're shooting in Liverpool for Gotham, which is a totally different look than what we've had on screen before.
And I love that we're getting a lean Batman for once. We never get a lean Batman. And
we don't really, like, Batman Begins is a lot of Batman Year One.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like, by the end of it, it doesn't really feel like young figuring it out Batman.
No, he's pretty much in the position of what he's going to be by the end, which is, I mean...
Maybe what I mean is that it doesn't feel like... Batman Begins never feels like immature Batman.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I feel like there's going to be a learning curve for Robert Pattinson, in that he's probably going to be too brutal. For a while, he's going to be like sort of figuring that kind of thing out.
Hopefully, that'll be a
not in the Ben Affleck way.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be a character point and not a just
that's how he
happens to be really horribly brutal to people.
Right, but they have wrapped filming. This movie was originally supposed to come out, I believe, in June. That was the first date for it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty good.
Happening.
Pretty good turnaround. Honestly, like.
Yeah. It was supposed to come out in June, and then it got moved to October, and that's the October 2021 date was the date that they had on the trailer back in August, and now it's not till March of 2022. So
okay, that's a little bit worse.
We got a while.
That makes me sad, but it'll be good.
It will be good. Next up, Black Widow. The release, according to Disney CEO. I'm not sure if he's CEO. Bob Chapek. The release is still not decided if they're going to actually drop it on May 7th. And he also says that it's going to be a last-minute decision whether or not they decide to release in theaters in May. So that's fascinating. They have to.
My thumb in this case is... It's just hanging in the middle, I would say. And which, when you flip that, is still just the middle, but in the opposite direction and in a very uncomfortable angle for my hand.
Yes.
I would say that it should definitely be released in theaters.
Oh, yeah, it has to be released in theaters.
Because, honestly, it's weird that they're even debating it, because by the time that this movie comes out, like, I don't know.
I know... I'm almost fully vaccinated at this point.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of people seem to be getting vaccinated at the moment, which is very encouraging. I'm gonna rush out to the theater to see literally anything.
Yeah.
And so
I will wait a little bit for the initial, like, whatever the rush looks like to die down, because even if I'm vaccinated, I don't trust that everyone around me is.
Right.
and I might bring that back to, you know.
Yeah.
So there is the initial thing of, I don't think there's going to be huge numbers opening weekend. I think there'll be like progressive, just steady numbers over time. Yeah. I think that's just what it's going to look like for a while.
And I think with a movie like Black Widow, which we don't know what it's going to set up, I think the Yelena Belova, the Florence Pugh character, is probably going to have a future. New
Black Widow.
Right. Yeah. But it's a movie about a character that's now been dead for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's just past time. I think everyone, especially with the new shows, is trying to move on to new horizons of storytelling, and this is a pre-Thanos story. So
it's time. I want to see General Ross stand in a field or whatever.
Yeah, I want to see him stand in a field. I want to see him maybe think about turn a little red.
Maybe a little red. Maybe he'll get very mad and his blood pressure will be bad and he will get very red and then he'll be fine.
Well, he had a heart attack canonically in the MCU.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, when he was doing his golf swing. I remember that. Yeah,
maybe that'll tie into it. That'd be kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Next up, Jim Carrey in Deadpool 3.
My thumb is through the floor because I am so excited about this. Yes. I think how reliable is this? Wherever this is coming from. Is this like 60-40?
It seemed reliable. It was one of those Marvel leakers.
Yeah.
But like one of the good ones, like the ones that know when the Spider-Man title was going to drop.
Right. Well, I'm all about this. I think there's so many great things that he could be in the Deadpool like zone. My personal favorite is Deadpool from the future. Right.
I think that's brilliant.
I think that would be so fun.
Yeah.
But
I doubt it's that, but I would love that.
Yeah, but he could also just be maybe a Deadpool who is more the Mask than Deadpool and is more chaotically murdery. Could be fun. I mean, Deadpool versus the Mask is something I want to see.
Deadpool does have, he has a moral compass that's buried down deep within him, I would say.
He doesn't kill randomly.
Right, yeah. He at least has a thesis behind why he killed someone.
Yeah.
Whether that thesis makes sense or not. I think it could be interesting if he was a future Deadpool that doesn't have that. He just kind of does it for fun.
Yeah.
But I doubt it's that. I don't know. I don't know who he could be.
I saw a thing that maybe he was a serial killer-y showman character whose name I forget. I think there aren't a lot of name Deadpool villains.
Right. Yeah.
Because he spent most of his time as a villain / mercenary, so most of his villains are superheroes.
Right.
But I think...
Or Francis.
But classic Marvel character Francis.
Right. Everyone knows Ajax.
But I think that just means that now that he's getting into the Disney zone, you can start bringing
Get in
that Disney zone.
Here's a thought.
Yeah.
So we've theorized that Deadpool 3 could be Deadpool hopping through the multiverse trying to get to the MCU.
That's what I would do if I could. Is a Deadpool road trip through the multiverse trying to get away from Fox.
Maybe Mr. Carey, that sweet Mr. Carey is playing Dr. Robotnik from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise in the Deadpool 3 movie.
I would give all of the money that I have
to see that,
which admittedly
is not much.
Not a lot, but
enough
to get that
to get that in the...
You know, here's what I want. I want Deadpool versus Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because they're so self-deprecating.
Yeah, they're truly the same character, pretty much.
Really.
Yeah.
If there's anything you take from this episode of Comic Breakers, The Grinch and Deadpool, one and the same?
Yeah. Think about it, but don't think about it.
Think about it? Don't think about it.
Yeah. Think about it for exactly the amount of time it takes me to finish the sentence, and now we're moving on.
Yep. Last up in the news, our Lord and Savior Kevin Feige has...
Praise glory be his name.
Praise and glory be hail Ave Kevin. He has come out and he has refuted the reports from very reliable, we're talking like Hollywood trades, that Chris Evans will be returning to the to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Captain America.
Do we have like what his actual statement was, like what he said?
It was pretty clear. Let me pull that up. So the statement is, it was hardly a statement. He just kind of spoke candidly to EW.
Yeah.
He said, "I rarely answer no to anything anymore because things are always surprising me with what happens. But that rumor, I think, was dispelled rather quickly by the man himself," referring to Chris Evans, who responded to the initial tweet saying it's news to him.
Right.
So I don't really read that as Kevin Feige really like shutting them down necessarily.
I mean, it's as close as we ever get to Feige shutting something down.
Right. Feige never says no or yes to anything.
Yeah. He didn't himself physically say the word no, I guess.
If he had said no, then I would have been like, he's probably not going to be, it's probably not going to happen,
But I do feel like if I'm Kevin Feige and I go, look, I almost never shut anything down, but I mean, look at what the guy said. And then later I heard people saying, well, he didn't say no. I would be like, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I think that there is precedence for us to still look at I still think it's actually happening. I mean, the reports came from, I think it was like Deadline and the Hollywood Reporter, and they don't report shit that's not definitely 100% happening.
Yeah. I think, look, I'd like to see pretty specifically past Cap Wolverine team up.
That's really, unless they're, and I don't think they're doing this, if they were maybe doing a Secret Empire thing, I would definitely watch that. I don't know if it's just hard to. His ending in Endgame is so good that if you're gonna bring him back, do you want him to come back to do something like Secret Empire where he's evil?
I don't think you do, because the reason Secret Empire eventually works, and people were furious about Secret Empire.
I have the first issue just sitting in my
that's the incredibly widely circulated and like heavily memed panel of Captain America saying Hail Hydra. I think if you bring Chris Evans back for that and he's playing like a fun mustache twirling villain, I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But the reason that story works is that at the end the real Captain America comes back and kicks his ass.
Right.
And you can't do that because then Captain America's back and he can't be back.
Right.
So I don't think they should do it.
Unless it's a multiverse thing where it's like a very sort of like quick flash of we're spending a short amount of time in this universe where Secret Empire is happening. But I think that would be silly. I don't think.
And I mean, look, there's always a way to, a fragment of the cosmic cube brings back the essence of true Captain America for 10 minutes, who beats up and then disappears. Like, you can do anything in these movies, but
I mean, that is the thing about the way that they have made adaptations in the MCU is that nothing is one-to-one for the comic book story, so maybe they'll take pieces of what Secret Empire is and they'll do something along those lines.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are bits and pieces of Secret Empire, if there's a little bit of a soupçon of Secret Empire in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I could definitely see that too. I could definitely see that.
That was a glorious segue, I would say. Okay, it's great, I think.
Yeah, general thoughts. I think it's really great. I think it's pretty much exactly what I expected. It's even, I said this last episode, it's even lower to the ground than I thought it would be. And I really like that.
I really like where we're meeting our two leads again.
Right. Yeah.
I really like Sam's whole situation with his family, with reconnecting with them and with hitting the brick wall with the bank and having it be, this is a very different Captain America and a very necessary Captain America. I think they do a good job of making the case for, while Sam is making the case against him being Captain America, the show is doing a very good job of saying, we need this guy to be Captain America right now.
Yeah. I also think, I mean, we're meeting these characters in a light that we've never met them before.
Yeah.
Like, we're meeting them on a very human, in a way, like monotonous, mundane. That's the better word for it.
Yeah.
We're meeting them on a very mundane level of like, well, here's what they're doing day to day, Yeah. And I think that's great. I think that's super exciting.
You could never get in one of the movies time devoted to Sam trying to prevent his family from selling their like boat and the house, and like you would it just wouldn't fit in a movie. And I think that Bucky's situation is also really interesting.
Right. Bucky's just trying to be he's trying to figure out how to be a normal guy and how to feel better about himself.
Yeah,
that's great.
And he's having the nightmare. Did you, as soon as
no spoilers?
Sorry, my bad. It's hard.
It is hard. It's hard.
Okay.
I have more respect for people that do no spoiler reviews now.
His situation is really interesting. And I think that the overall tone of this so far is something that I'm really enjoying. I think it's mixing the kind of Winter Soldier, Russo brothers vibe that these characters have carried with a much more kind of low to the ground, like it's episodic kind of situation.
It's like if you took the Winter Soldier, like Captain America, Winter Soldier, and crossed it with like the Florida Project.
Yeah. yeah.
That's what it feels like right now. And it's obviously it's laying seeds for the big high stakes, not necessarily personal stuff that's very soon to happen.
Yeah.
Let's get into spoilers.
Okay.
I think we've covered what we can cover.
Here's my question. How fast did you realize that the guy who Bucky murdered in the flashback, in the Winter Soldier flashback, was the son of his elderly friend in the present? The second he started, his father started talking about how he didn't know what happened to his son. I was like, oh, same. And I think that in that moment it's like, oh God, like that.
It's brutal.
It's really, really well done.
Yeah.
And I think that the really everything that's highlighting the fact that this guy just does not belong in this time, and he's also like, he's
so awkward.
Yeah, it's like Captain America's time displacement plus like everyone in this universe's trauma put together.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
this guy.
It would be an interesting story on its own of just a 106-year-old dude trying to figure out, with no history of fucking Nazi murder.
Yeah.
For 90 years.
Yeah.
It's great to get to watch Sebastian Stan reconcile with those very there's a lot of complex stuff character-wise going on with that.
Yeah.
And I think he's pulling it off really well. I think it's really well written. I don't know if there's ever been anything written about the Winter Soldier as a character that is going this personal and just going this personal.
I don't think comic-wise there's ever really been that, not through the lens of Captain America.
Right.
I think the closest is like his relationship with Black Widow in the comics, but it's always looking at him by way of his relation with someone else.
Right.
So I think it's really interesting to just focus in on him first. I think it was really smart that he and Sam don't meet up in the first episode.
I also think it's great. I think it's great to be able to see these characters on film, not through the lens of somebody else.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. And I also really liked a surprise Don Cheadle. It's always great.
Yeah, surprise Don Cheadle.
He's also listed in the credits, so I wonder if he is recurring in this.
I doubt it, because with WandaVision, the main title credits, the actors' names do change.
Oh, okay.
Based on so it's gonna change.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
It was fun while that's the one thing you say about Don Cheadle. He's not around for a long time, but he's always around for a good time.
Yeah.
Ain't that right, Don?
So, he doesn't want to talk right now.
Yeah, sorry.
He's here, though.
He's here,
Yeah.
For a good time.
I think... sorry. I just don't want to forget. Batroc lives.
Batroc lives.
Batroc lives. He's here. He's
#Batroc
ready to party.
lives. Make it a thing.
Batroc lives. #Batroc lives. Hashtag Rip Red Wing.
Rip Red Wing. Senior. Red Wing Senior.
Yeah. I think that it's great. It's a great sign that they are taking that little bit of care to have the villain jump out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
Before it explodes. Just keep these guys alive because they're fun.
Is Batroc gonna be the main villain of the show?
That is a bit of a leap. In logic,
he did it. We were all thinking it.
Yeah.
I've seen the episode twice, and this morning when I was watching it, when Sam gets up to the windshield, I do have a driver's license. Windshield of the plane.
Yeah.
I saw the guy that was piloting it. I was like, that guy looks French. And then lo and behold,
that French motherfucker's around
lo and
here
behold,
somewhere.
he gets inside and Batroc is there, and I was happy about it.
I love Falcon's new design. I know that Anthony Mackie has been wanting to have a more superhero-y costume.
I think this is probably where I'm excited to see if he gets a cap suit.
He must, right? But I think it's nice that they're giving him some more color to his suit and making it a little bit more superhero.
Really, the only red I feel like in his suit in Civil War and Infinity War was his goggles and maybe like a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, there would be
torso,
like lines. It's like the X-Men thing where there's just a line of what their main color is. Yeah. I love the use of Red Wing.
Red Wing is back.
I think
they really, they honestly they kind of made Red Wing a character a little bit.
They did. He talks to him like
he does.
Like a character.
And Red Wing speaks back. Did you hear him that one time?
I didn't hear did he have a voice?
No. It's not a voice. He just makes like a bird sound. He just goes like.
He made a bird sound.
Yeah, it was dope.
Hell yeah,
it was
Red
wonderful.
Wing the Fourth. I think that it's great to lean into that stuff because that also is something that Falcon would do.
Well, he can talk to birds.
But it is something he would do, that he would program like a bird sound inside
into
of
his
thing
one thing that I really like about what they're doing with Falcon is that he clearly likes being famous and the attention that people give him for his great deeds.
But then there's also the I don't know. I think that the scene with him and at the bank is a lot that's really interesting in that. But I think that the moment when he gets recognized felt very real to how if you're it's uncomfortable in the sense that he's an Avenger and this guy knows he's an Avenger, but he's also trying to get this loan and this guy has this weird power over him and it's
right.
And he's taking a selfie without asking, and I don't know. I think that it does a good job of very kind of naturally making you uncomfortable.
I will say, if Sam Wilson, an Avenger, walked into a bank in real life, they would give him the loan.
Well, I think it's weird. It's an interesting area to examine because these superheroes don't have steady income.
I'm really glad that they addressed wait, how do they make money?
Yeah,
how do they survive?
And they talked about how people are generous. People make donations. They have change.org petition.
I guess.
Or no, GoFundMe's for superheroes.
You think in the first one that S.H.I.E.L.D. would give them a stipend?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess when S.H.I.E.L.D. was around, I thought that Stark was paying them to some extent, or at least
he should have been.
He lets them live there. Does Wanda have any money?
I don't know. That's an interesting. Well, she has a Buick. She has that red Buick that she's driving around. She does have that
red Buick. It's pretty good. That's all the money she
Anyway, Falcon can't get a loan.
No. It's just I'm really excited to see this guy become Captain America.
Yeah.
This
episode breathes so much. He's been great in the movies for the screen time that he has, but this episode brought so much life to both of them.
Yeah.
As it took them out of the big battles in Wakanda and the ruins of the Avengers facility, and it made them feel a lot more like people.
Did you were you as absolutely certain as I was, and I guess kind of still am, that that tech guy is gonna get shot in the head at some point?
Torres,
yeah.
When I watched it this morning, I was, and now so the character Joaquin Torres does become a version of Falcon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And I thought I when he came on this morning, I was like, I'm pretty sure this guy becomes a superhero at some point in time. And
he does have the vibe of someone who's being placed as a future superhero.
Yeah, and so I think I feel like this show is probably going to set up that.
Falcon becomes Captain America. This guy becomes Falcon,
right. And Bucky just
stays Bucky.
Keeps on bucking.
I
didn't like that.
I think though I think it might also be an interesting kind of all of the theories around this show should be Torres based, because it could also be a red herring that's like, oh, this guy's named like the person who becomes Falcon, and he's like Falcon's wingman right now.
Right.
But oh nope, he gets shot in the head by the Flag Smashers. Also,
it doesn't feel like a very Marvel thing to do, though.
No, that's true. But hey, Marvel TV, who knows?
That's true.
But I will say that I'm not sold on the Flag Smashers yet.
In what way? As like a compelling villain?
I think that their ideology is interesting.
Uh-huh.
I think it's smart to have a group that's very I'm not sure about anti-countries in general, but I think anti-government groups, like kind of rebel groups, I think that's smart because we've got a terrible government-sponsored Captain America.
It is a good contrast, like, because the John Walker Cap, and they're gonna come into contact with one another.
Yeah,
you know,
and they're not wrong, you know, in that sense. But I think I'm kind of sick of like just legions of guys in masks, legions of crossboneses. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'll be more interesting than that. Right. But just as far as this episode goes, it's like, oh, it's a strong guy, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that guy specifically. I think that man is probably a little bit of a red herring, because we know that Aaron Kellyman is playing the leader of the Flag Smashers. And so if there's something complex and nuanced going on with her, then I'll be in with it. But I am with you. For me, that was honestly like probably the least interesting part of the episode.
But it's also just starting to set them up. Right. So I'm sure they'll get more interesting.
There's going to be a lot to do.
The weird QR code hand thing.
Yeah, that I could have done without. I don't think that, it was a little strange.
Karen called out that it was the Pokemon Go villains.
It's a Pokemon Go for military villains. Yeah. For the villains, like what I find most interesting right now, just looking forward and sort of theorizing, breaking, if you will.
Yes.
We're not into the breakers portion yet.
Damn it.
I'm more interested still in U.S. Agent John Walker, and Zemo, and what is all that, and our boy the Leaper. Batroc.
I hope he's in every episode, and his appearance in every episode ends with him jumping out of an increasingly ridiculous death trap.
I hope he continues to get more French too. He was even more French in this than he was in The Winter Soldier.
He's getting progressively stronger and progressively more French. I would give exactly $1 million if I had it, but I spent it all on that bright red Buick, and I don't regret it.
Yep.
But I would give $1 million for Red Wing to have a New Jersey voice and be a fun little helper, much in the style of Ralph the Arrow, everyone's favorite character from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Because the moment when Falcon is chasing after Batroc and like a couple of other henchmen jump out in wingsuits, like just regular wingsuits, like flying squirrel suits, and they are going punch for punch with Falcon for a period.
Right.
I would give anything to have, like, after that bit when one of the guys like shoves Falcon into a rock wall and he's like, for Red Wing to just go, well, that was embarrassing for you.
That was embarrassing for you.
These fucking idiots in wingsuits are fighting the Falcon effectively.
But he also, I feel like Red Wing, if you really took him to the edge, would be very protective of his boss.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course.
He would do it.
And he'd be voiced by Danny DeVito.
Anything for you, boss. Love it. One thing, this will probably segue us into the Breakers portion.
Hell yeah.
There's a little thing that Joaquin Torres says over superhero FaceTime.
Yeah.
Because it's special FaceTime.
Classic superhero FaceTime.
Right before we cut to the news broadcast of John Walker Cap, he says, "Do you think these guys are?"
Right.
And then Sam cuts them off and is like, "Circle back to me. We'll talk about this later.
Keep this between us." Yeah.
What do you think he was about to call?
So my instinct there, just in the moment, was like, "Oh, are we going back to like those kind of crazed super soldiers that were like teased in that were a red herring in Civil War and then all got shot in the head? Or is this something new?" And I saw in the opening, in the intro, in the credit sequence, there's a shot of like a little blue vial with like an injector at the end of it.
Like the superhero.
It looks like the super soldier serum. I wonder if they've found a way to make a new like momentary injection thing that gives you like enhanced strength or something for a period of time, like makes you a And I think that's probably going to factor into U.S. Agent.
It's definitely going to factor
into that. He's got
into
some kind of shitty, like, more drug-like equivalent of a super soldier serum. There's probably going to be some kind of addiction aspect, I would guess.
Yeah. It's like it's almost like a Bane thing in a way.
Yeah, like a Bane thing, or like that dude from Jessica Jones, who goes crazy and tries to murder Patsy. Here's one thought that I have, and this is full Breakers portion, I think.
Yeah, let's get in. Welcome to the Breakers portion.
What?
Sorry, I hate that I do that. I'm sorry.
Okay, I might be incredibly off base here, but I am so absolutely certain that psychiatrist is a member of the Flag Smashers.
Interesting.
There is every fiber of my being is positive that this woman is one of the Flag Smashers.
Well, I know we're going to get more of her.
Definitely. She's the one who's asking if they're having a staring contest later, right?
Yeah.
Who's giving them like couples therapy.
So I want to know, how do they get to couples therapy, basically?
I'm excited about it. Yeah. But we do get a little injection of her backstory that she's a soldier. Right. That she was a great soldier, saw a lot of people die, knows what it's like to have that shut your brain down. Right. I think it's very par for the course for somebody to try to activate Bucky's mind stuff, and if it's his therapist.
Interesting.
You know, that's my big theory right now, is that she's a Flag Smasher or working for Zemo in some way.
I don't think so. I definitely see it's possible. I see that as a less likely thing. I honestly think that she is just going to be a therapist. I do think that we're going to get something of someone tries to activate Bucky and it's not going to work.
We even see it in the intro thing, in the credits.
Oh, yeah, you see the words. You see the words.
Yeah, no, I think that'd probably be a really fun moment, because they're not going to do that again,
outro,
right?
Brian?
If it actually... Sorry, I keep saying intro. Why do all of these shows have to have the opening credits at the end? Yeah. But I do think it would be a really fun moment to have somebody reciting all that stuff, and Bucky is like staring at them, and then he just fucking headbutts them or whatever. Right. Yeah. I think that'd be great.
I think it would be great. My thought, and it's not likely, and it's also just probably what's sprinting around the internet right now, is, was he about to say mutants? Because they are going to Madripoor.
Oh, really? They're going to Madripoor? Mm-hmm. That's exciting.
That big city in the trailer is Madripoor.
Hell yeah. I thought it was the same city as when we get the Ronin stuff in Endgame. It looked really similar.
No, that's just Tokyo in Endgame.
Yeah, I figured it was just Tokyo.
No, it's Madripoor.
Hell yeah. I love Madripoor. I think Madripoor is so fun.
I think it'll be really cool. So I think it's not impossible if there's like little rumblings within the government of talking about these fledgling mutants that are out there. I don't necessarily think it's likely. Maybe the show is trying to lead us to think that, or maybe they genuinely are setting it up, but I do think it's a possibility. Yeah. There are rumblings out there that Omega Red is going to be in this series.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
I think there's an incredibly high chance, if we're going to Madripoor, there's an incredibly high chance that we're going to get Gorgon, who is he's a kind of, you would recognize him if you saw him. He's generally like, if not the leader of Madripoor, like he takes over Madripoor a lot. Mm-hmm. And he's a sword wielding mutant villain who he's got like a red bandana over his eyes, and he usually wears like a kimono kind of thing that's like it's white and it's got like a red lines on it. Mm-hmm. He's traditionally he fights Daredevil a lot, he fights Wolverine a lot, he also fights Shang-Chi a lot.
Oh, cool.
So I think if
I was about to ask,
if we're going to Madripoor, I think there's a good chance we'll get some kind of something referencing that dude.
Do you think we'll get a reference maybe to the 10 Rings?
Maybe something like that. I think Gorgon would be a good mini boss for someone like Shang-Chi to take on. So that could be something.
He might be in Shang-Chi. I haven't looked at the cast list for that. All I know is Tony Leung is playing the real Mandarin, not the fake Mandarin.
And that's what he calls himself. He has a business card that says the real
I am
Mandarin.
the real one. What do we think about Bucky going on a date?
That was nice. I liked that, and then I wonder if she'll show up again.
I think she will.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't just a one-off.
Yeah, because I want to see like Bucky. I mean, that's kind of the whole thesis of the therapist scene. Yeah, is that he needs connection, and obviously he's gonna get that. Some of that arc is gonna come with Sam. Yeah, and them becoming friends. I think that's probably a very like a key word kind of thing.
I also like that Sam's been trying to reach out to him. That's a nice
like
touch.
that too.
Because that is a very Sam thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's a very Captain America thing to do.
Captain America, yes, indeed. And I think this show is actually showing us why he didn't give the shield to Bucky.
Yeah, he's not ready.
Right, he's not ready. Maybe someday he will. If Sam has to go off the grid or something like that, he will take over the mantle.
I think we'll get about 20 minutes where he's wielding the.
He's gonna wield the shield.
He's gonna use it.
I think they're gonna sort of have ownership of it.
Oh, he gets it on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Right.
And
yeah, it's
kind
of like a divorced thing with
the somebody's gonna make that joke. You know it. You know it. I know it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Red Wing.
So here's a question for you. We've now seen John Walker, played by Wyatt Russell, in just the best shit-eating grin with a wink. Just the best ending that this episode could have had. It was so good.
His ears make me angry.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I really did like the episode a lot, and the way that it ends on that frame specifically, oh my gosh, it was like the perfect way to end the episode.
Great. And do we have a name for this senator guy, whoever he is?
I don't know. I didn't catch one. He pissed me off.
He did. Yeah. I liked him being at the ceremony when Sam gives away the shield. I mean, giving it to the Smithsonian was the right thing to do, and then he hands it over
he clearly played Sam into doing it.
Oh yeah,
because they wanted to have their own Captain America, government sanctioned Captain America.
And that actually leads me to a huge thing that we haven't talked about yet. So is Steve dead?
It's a conspicuous mention
that he's
Torres
gone.
Has a very conspicuous he said they brought it up and they talked about it specifically. So I don't know if it'll necessarily be a plot point, but nobody knows where he is.
Yeah, and also the moon, the secret base on the moon thing. There are a couple of references there.
That's cool.
There's the Black Bolt and the Inhumans. Right. There's the Watcher, which is more. The Watcher is more of a direct reference.
Torres was actually saying, "Do you think they're Inhumans?"
But there's also, I think, the third and maybe most interesting one is it's very similar to what happens to Nick Fury in the comics, where he becomes either the man on the wall, I think is the name, or the fly on the wall, where he basically he starts to age and he rapidly ages and becomes an old man. This is how they got Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury into the comics, and phased out original Nick Fury. Mm-hmm. He basically becomes, after the Watcher is killed, maybe by Fury, he becomes the man on the wall who is basically the Watcher if the Watcher had a sniper rifle.
Interesting. So are you saying, did Steve become...
No. Okay. but I think that's the main reference there, is that
no one's ever
got
seen...
elderly and then goes and,
lives on the moon. No one's ever seen Steve and Uatu in the same room.
That's true.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because we've never seen Uatu himself in live action.
I think
but my point still stands.
I think that we should just assume that Stanley was Uatu.
I think,
well, he was technically a friend of the Watchers.
Well, I actually know who's playing Uatu. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? Who's playing Uatu?
So the What If show is MCU canon.
Yeah.
It is MCU canon in the sense that it is a multiverse show.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Wright is voicing Uatu the Watcher in it.
I knew that. That's awesome. That's great.
What I think is great about that is that it gives the What If show real weight rather than just something you can just sort of sit down and enjoy. There is
God forbid there's something we can just sit down and enjoy.
Right? No, we have to sit down and we enjoy it, and then we pour and we obsess over it and we suffer over this material. That is what we do, Brian.
Yeah. How many Gorgons do you think are going to be in What If?
At least 16.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
To go back to the John Walker thing for a minute, I think... So I'm breaking based on what I've seen in the episode also what I've seen in trailers.
Right.
Sam gets the shield back.
Yeah, because he's practicing with it.
He's practicing with it at home in Louisiana.
Though, could be a flashback. He said he had been back home.
It's true.
And we see, just because Sam's there doesn't mean that's not
the past. But Bucky's there also.
I mean, sorry, just because Bucky's there, that doesn't mean it's not the past. But it would be a little weird if he was ignoring Sam. It would be weird if Bucky
was then suddenly ignoring him.
That's true.
So I guess my question is, we're going to go under the assumption that they get the shield back in the next 2 or 3 episodes. Well, I mean...
I think it'll take them... I don't know.
When do you think that would be?
I think that might be a maybe not a midpoint thing, but
it feels like a mid. It doesn't feel late in the show to me.
I think they need to get it back so that they can start to, because I think having him just not have access to it is less interesting than him having access to it and trying to decide whether or not to use it.
Right. Yeah.
So I think they'll get it back relatively early, but I don't think it'll be in like the next episode.
So if they get it back relatively early, what if that means that has implications for John Walker relatively early?
You know, it'd be fun is if, like, say the first half of the show, if we're treating the shield handoff as the midpoint, the first half of the show, John Walker, U.S. agent, is, you know, running around at football games, high-fiving people,
right,
throwing out the first pitch and doing all this other stuff. And I know that's baseball. I'm traveling from place to place. I don't have a driver's license. But, and he's, you know, this huge international celebrity. Everybody loves this new Captain America.
Right.
And then he gets very publicly torn up by Sam and Bucky, or something comes out and it kind of cracks his credibility as Captain America. He loses the shield, and in the second half we just get his spiral.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be interesting.
I wonder if it would be a public sort of humiliation by the hands of Sam and Bucky, or if it would be something along the lines of he's no match for the Flag Smashers, or he goes off the chain really quickly.
Oh, he just does it himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
I think it would be more interesting if Sam and Bucky caused him to spiral.
Yeah, it'll probably be a mix of both, of him being woefully inept and an asshole, and also him being stopped. Also, there's definitely going to be a thing where he goes toe-to-toe with Falcon, somebody records it, and people blame Falcon.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Winter Soldier. And because Falcon's with Winter Soldier, who's, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're already, I mean, so Winter Soldier's he's got a presidential pardon, obviously.
Yeah.
They've sowed seeds for that he's on thin ice in a way.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to get touched on.
We all know they're going to go on the run.
Yeah.
They always go on the run.
That's all these characters do.
I don't think there is a movie with Falcon in it where he's not at some point on the run.
Right, yeah. Do you think it's a possibility that he's going to be brutal? We definitely know that. That's just inherent to the character.
Yeah.
But that he isn't full bad, at least for the first part of it?
I think he will always be unworthy of the shield. And more than that, I think he'll always be... I think he's going to be the thing that Erskine was worried about. A bully, a good soldier, but not a good man.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's going to be.
Do you think he survives the show? Do you think he becomes a Thunderbolt?
Ooh,
I would love to see him become. I think that's a real possibility.
I feel like we're slowly building up our like Thunderbolts pitch, like one show.
We're gonna have to make that. We're gonna have to make that
one character to it at a time. No, I think that's great. I think for that reason alone, they should keep him alive.
Yeah.
Also, I
don't think you'd cast Wyatt Russell to kill him after one TV show.
I also think it means more to arrest him.
Yeah.
Than to kill him.
I agree with that.
I think that's a bigger thing,
because it would be a public thing of, we had to arrest our Captain America. We made a mistake.
Exactly. Otherwise, they get a get out of jail free card.
Right. So that's a possibility that he could become a Thunderbolt. Yeah. What if he just loses the shield rather than
he just leaves it at the Walmart?
No. Like they have it. Like he continues to be the government sanctioned Captain America for the entirety of the series, but in a scuffle with Winter Soldier and Falcon, he just loses it. It's maybe not this big public thing, but yeah.
I think that should be a vaguely public moment.
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal. And every time that shield gets handed off.
Right.
The fact that that Sam wasn't at the beginning of this episode getting dressed for Cap's funeral makes me think we must see old Steve for 5 minutes at some point in this show.
Steve, give me the Steve.
Give me the Steve. He's got to be around.
Do you know if the Steve is in season?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he I think he should be.
He's
for
definitely
like 5
ripe.
Minutes. Because what?
He's definitely ripe.
He
may not be in season, but he is ripe.
He is very ripe. But I don't think they would kill him without having it be a huge deal, even though he's just dying of old age. I think you do a Peggy Carter thing. You have to give him like a funeral, right?
See, I kind of think you just let his moment in Endgame be it.
Well, I don't think you need... yeah. But...
And you don't need to know what happened to old Steve. Old Steve just went and lived his life.
Oh, God, wouldn't that be fascinating?
I would love that.
If we're just on Torres's page this whole time, where it's
I think that would be
maybe
awesome.
He's alive, maybe he's not, maybe he's on the moon. You know what?
I think because that also leaves open, like, if Captain America is dead, then, like, you have to reconcile with the idea that, like, the Captain America... I know, like, Falcon will become Captain America, and it would be awesome, and... but like the Captain America, Steve Rogers, is dead. That's something ideologically to reconcile with.
I think they could reconcile that, but I do agree with you that it is way more fun if we just don't know.
Yeah,
I think
it's cool because
better.
it's like the idea of like, well, the hope is still out there.
Yeah, you know? It's the walking off into the sunset thing. We don't have to see it, which is difficult to pull off in this universe. We've seen it with Hawkeye,
right? Where
every time a character walks off into the sunset, 2 movies down the line,
he's gonna be back.
Yeah, you can't just disappear in this universe unless you're the Abomination. But even not anymore.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's on his
way.
I
think if we can manage to pull off everyone just a knowing wink and a nod, and we never know if he's still alive or what he's doing, I think that's great.
So you're going to err on the side of we do see old man Steve, Chris Evans.
I think starting right now, I'm erring on the side of I hope not.
Oh, you hope not.
But also, if we do see him, I'll weep and stuff.
I
don't think
we'll see him.
I
don't think I'd even want to see him.
Yeah.
I think it's just good to leave it where it is.
Yeah. No, I think so too.
We're going to err on the side of John Walker loses the shield pretty early.
Yeah.
And he spirals in the midpoint. Who knows what I don't know what to say about Flag Smashers yet.
Yeah.
I don't think they're mutants.
Wouldn't it be fun if they weren't even at all connected with Zemo?
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
We'll see.
Who knows where Zemo comes in? Well, you know what I did notice?
What?
So Bucky's got his notebook of like people he has to, make amends with, and
or put in prison.
H Zemo is on the list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I bet that's actually where Zemo comes into play.
Oh, he's just... what would be great is if they sort of Loki'd him, not in full, like, good guy now, but if he's just getting dragged into this.
He's going to be a Thunderbolt. I'm telling you.
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah. No, he's going to try to release a fucking bioweapon or something. You know how it is.
That is probably what's going to... He's going to be great, and then he's going to go do his thing. He's going to do that Zemo thing.
He's going to do that Zemo thing.
All I know, better get that fucking sword.
Yep. Get the sword. So there's 3 hashtags. Get the sword. Rip Red Wing the first, second, and third.
Yep.
And Batroc lives.
Batroc lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep those alive, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Give us a subscribe. Give us a rate. Give us a comment. Give us a like. Do whatever. All those things that regular YouTubers and podcasters say.
Do whatever you feel in your heart.
Thank you for listening to us. Give us a comment. What do you think about the first episode of Falcon Winter Soldier? What do you think is going to happen next? Did Batroc live?
Yes,
he did.
Yes, he did.
And if you try to argue with us,
Batroc will
you're
come
gonna lose.
Batroc will come and leap over you. He won't hurt you, but
he won't kick you, but he will jump over you.
He'll go, "What time is it?" And then it'll take 4 hours to actually do the thing where he leaps over you.
Right.